Stock market volatility is about to explode. We got a lot to discuss today. It is Monday, August 18th, 2025. If you end up liking the content, like the video as well, you guys consider subscribing. Also, I know if you come find me on carnivoretrades.com, you're going to love swing trading alerts and our live day trading room. Let's get into it here today. So really boring day. I wasn't even going to do a video today just because we had a basically repeat of Friday, and I was joking earlier about like they didn't even bother to change the algo, right? So we had a little drop, slice of the low, and then just kind of a float up before like a dip, drop, slice of the low, kind of float up. So they kept it the same, and then it's like, well, did they know that like OPEX was Friday? We don't need to do this anymore. But yeah, Vanna boys doing good here with implied volatility, getting absolutely crushed right now. And spiders essentially, SPX rather, like with the exception of these little wicks, this is a 10-point range, which is very, very low. Man, even for a Monday. Now we kind of figured there wouldn't be a lot of volatility the first day or two of the week, as obviously the fireworks are later this week with Jackson Hole. We've had headline after headline about Zelensky and Putin and Trump. That's like almost as exhausting as when it was like tariff this, tariff that. It's actually just kind of meaningless at this point because there's so many of them. But nonetheless, market is tight here. We do think there is a move coming though. I mean, we know that compression leads to expansion anyway, but why are we close to one? Well, we've been in a 30-point range for 4 days now. But the bigger thing here, kind of more of a bigger picture view, and shout out to the Nigerians for retweeting this, but you can see the IV rank, and it's the same thing on the Qs as well, and SPX in case you're wondering. The lowest since February. So basically implied volatilities are very, very tight right now, and the market's not really pricing in any of it. So good time to be maybe long premium. I don't know about for day trading, but for like your swing trading options, good time to do that. And despite what some of the vol quants say, I think it's a good time to hedge too. I mean, you got a VIX here that's just made 52-week lows, and again, IV is crushed right now. Why else would I say that? Because Wednesday, spiders and Qs will roll into negative gamma. So we got to take a look at that, and it's going to stay like that for quite a while. So we've got a pretty, positive, flow tomorrow, but after that, market does open up a little bit here. So I think it's kind of a perfect storm here for volatility to move. Does that mean that we're going to crash again? I keep stressing this, but no, it doesn't mean we have to do that. But it just means that there are increased risk here of any sort of macro event in the market about to close here, by the way. But it's increased risk of like any sort of macro event actually mattering. So you guys, if you've been following the channel for a while, I've been staunchly saying, with the exception of right here, buy every dip on the way up, basically. But now we actually have a scenario here where the market is like, it lines up, right, where risk can actually matter. And that's really all important, right? It doesn't matter what the macro is. If the positioning is not confirming that, or if the positioning is not conducive for a pullback, it just won't happen. So we are getting that look now. And I don't think anything really happens tomorrow. In fact, I wouldn't even be surprised if we made a new high on a headline. This peace deal stuff, something's going to come of it. Like, I don't know what it's going to be, but whether it's a ceasefire or whether it's this or that, something's going to happen, right? And the market's probably going to like it. And we have Friday too with Jackson Hole. The market might like what Powell says here. What would I look for though to confirm a bear move? I would love it if for a bear move to confirm is an attempt at 65 and then a failure, and just a heavy reversal, much like what we got here. But I think if you do it again, it will follow through. Remember, we talk about this all the time. Distribution it's not like a bottom, right, where the volume is like 200 million shares. You can't just, the institutions can just market buy right here. They can't market sell up here like that. So we'll see if that happens. The bull case is unchanged. You're getting the rotation into small caps. IWM up with Qs down. We've been looking for that to be the last kind of confirming move, or confirming thing to happen to suggest that we're close to some sort of a pullback. That's usually how it works. So the laggards catch up, breadth expands, and then you get that final move. And we are seeing, rotation in other sectors. Again, XLP, not the last couple of days, but it has gotten a bid. Healthcare, NVO had some news today. Obviously, Lilly had a nice bounce, UNH, right? So we know that this rotation is going on. And then the Dow, obviously, made new all-time highs. It was down 48 cents today, but made that new all-time closing high for the week. So we've seen all these things. So yeah, I would say volatility is really close to expansion here. And premium sellers are, they've been winning for a while, right? But everything comes around at a time. So again, it's important to understand that, again, it's specifically about conditions here, right? So anything that can or may happen in the next couple of days is probably not going to be any less or more bearish than like anything that you could have said on the way up. But if we do go down, it'll be because of the conditions and the positioning more so than anything. So that's what it's really about, recognizing those air pockets and where risk can go. Now, maybe nothing happens. Maybe we just go sideways for, a long time, and like delta decay the 6,500 for, I'm telling you guys, it's going to be a long time. I don't know what would happen to get us through that, to be honest. I just don't really see it. But yeah, we'll see. Nonetheless here, market flat today, down 65 cents on the SPX. That's 1 basis point. Really, really quiet stuff. Sucks for day trading right now, but we should get at least an expensive move here by, I would say, Wednesday. So anyway, tech on the weaker side. Microsoft took a little bit of a dump. We had Meta getting hit. So we had a little bit of weakness there. I think Google was down a little too. I know Broadcom was down earlier. Yeah, Broadcom, it came off the lows though. But, again, this was weak. Well, the IWM was strong, and there was massive dispersion today. I mean, massive. Like single tickers were doing well, but the rest of the the volatility very compressed at the index level. So CoreWeave, the play we were looking at, did not really do anything. Kind of just, it did get that gap up, and it held the low from Friday, but that's all it did. So not really much going on there. So nothing really doing. I would say if this doesn't get going by tomorrow, it's probably a little bit of a, the risk reward's not that great. This is just a bounce play here, and it got the gap up. I mean, this was definitely a slam into OPEX and happened to close 3 cents below, but yeah, a little weakness there today. So nothing really doing there. Semis, SMH up $1.21. Not really anything else to report there. IGV's been in a tight range as well. So volatility coming. Transports were strong this morning. They came off the highs. One of the only things that actually moved today was interest rates. So we had the 2-year up a little bit, 2-year yield, but it was really the long end. The 30s were strong all day, and TLT got walloped. I told you guys that positive kind of dealer hedging going away, and it was down today. It hit 86. There's definitely a ceiling on TLT this week, and it'll be interesting if that does by chance break down, or if Powell's dovish, which he's going to signal a cut for September. We know that. The market already knows that, which is why it's surprising to me that the market would take it any other way. But if TLT pukes on that, maybe there's your catalyst for a pullback. Anyway, XHB flat, just like everything. VNQ down 76 cents. XLF was down a little bit earlier, flat close. KRE up 34 cents, that helped out. The IWM and then broker dealers here fractionally higher as well. Oil was down early, but it came back. New contract, so a lot of whipsaw there. I know XLE had a pretty good dip by at one point. Yeah, it did come back, but it did still closed red on the day. XOPOAH kind of split down the middle too. Dollar index up 27 cents. It's holding on to this spot here, but it's not really getting a convincing bid off it just yet, is it? Gold, I'd be a little careful with here this week. So Actually, I can pull it up for you. I believe I tweeted this morning. We got it. I would just be a little cautious with that. So into Wednesday, we're seeing some tails come up here. 300, 290 on GLD, and a little bit more on Friday, but definitely not as strong as it looked the last couple of weeks. It's been in a tight range too, but just be careful with it. I mean, I don't think anything like terrible is going to happen, but just for this week alone, it doesn't look as good here. Silver on the futures looks fine here. I like the weekly too. That weekly is still really strong. Platinum down 34 basis points. That's starting to look more like a lower high. Palladium did get a bounce here, but again, you got to be. This is why I say like don't buy dips in these. Like buy flags, right? That's a flag, you want to buy that. That's more like a flag, you want to buy that. After they run up, don't go for the higher low, because like this is what happens. Yeah, or wait for it to prove itself and then go off a pattern there. But yeah, you got to be careful with platinum, palladium. Copper sucks. I still have my runner. I want the market. I'm daring the market to stop me out. Like it's already a profit locked in, but I'm like, go on, stop me out. Come on. So we'll see if it happens or not. On to coins. BTC down a little bit, but it came up off the low today. So it held the trend line. Still got that ugly engulfing. And it's holding on to my level here, the 116 area. So we'll see what it does tomorrow. ETH pulling back here, but off the lows as well. I took a look at dealer positioning. There's a lot of talk about crowded positioning in Ethereum futures. Maybe, but I'm just gonna say, I don't see any red flags with Ethereum, with ETH as far as the options market. The only thing is, I don't think it's going to get much past 35 right now. I think that's a little bit of a ceiling. I do think, though, even if this has like topped or whatever, I think it at least tries to make a new high. And I think the fact that it's coming off the low right now is probably kind of a sign that that's correct. So, again, I'm not telling you to buy it. I'm just saying I took the liberty of doing that because I've been hearing a lot of chatter. So it doesn't look terrible in any capacity. It looks supportive out through September. That can change though. Yeah, so spiders here, yeah, really tight. Let's hope we get like, maybe if we're really lucky, we'll get a 15-point range tomorrow. But yeah, this is not going to last here. So compression leads to expansion, and again, probably a good time if you're like to play options. Good time to maybe go long premium here as opposed to short. Just not for, I wouldn't do it as like a day trade because the IVs are still really low. But for like swings, a couple weeks, couple months out, you're probably going to benefit from that range break. Then pretty sizable move should come from this. So anyways, guys, I'll wrap it up here again. You guys take care. Don't forget to come find me on carnivoretrades.com. I'll see you guys all tomorrow.